Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Karishma Connect. I'm absolutely delighted to be sharing yet another insightful conversation with yet another passionate entrepreneur who is only 16. Yes, you heard that right. I mean, entrepreneurship knows no age. And this entrepreneur called Ahana Kotibhaskar sent me one of her packs, period care packs from her brand Saathi, with a tagline that says better together. And indeed, that's what we talk about on the podcast as well. Ahana studies in England and she visited South Asia on one of her trips and saw the impact of period poverty and the way it stopped rural women from even going out there just because they were not able to afford the products that we often take advantage of. And that's where Saathi was born, with the purpose to empower them. So for every period underwear that you buy, Saathi donates one to people in need in partnership with their strategic tie-up with KCS Foundation. And these are priced at AED 40 and are made of 100% bamboo fabric, extremely compostable and sustainable. They've also got a wide bunch of other products that are available on their website that will be in the links below. So go check it out. And until the next one, I'll see you soon, because this is Karishma Connect. We are back every Sundays and Tuesdays because that's how we are growing, and I can't wait to explore this journey further. Karishma Connect. Thank you so much, Ahana, for joining me on Karishma Connect today. It's a pleasure to have you, and I can't wait to share your really inspiring journey and story with the listeners. And looking forward to this little chat of ours.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. It's such an honor.
Most welcome. So, the first thing that I do is I ask everybody on my show to just dig right in, dive in, tell me about this journey, their story all along. What have been their passions? How did they start? And what's so special to be where they are today?
Well, I think for me, I've always been really interested in helping others. So when I was younger, so when I was 11, I helped teach kids in the slums of India. I've volunteered. So I always knew that I wanted to do something to make a big change in society as we know it. And I guess that's where perhaps Sati originally stemmed from.
And how did you start, Saathi? What was your need factor? What was the kind of research that went into finally, starting Saathi?
So last year, I visited my family village in India. And when I went there, I met some of the girls who are my age. And after talking with them for a bit, I realized that there was this one major problem. They weren't going to school.
Mm.
So I realized that this was because of their periods. So in these sorts of areas, people treat periods as unsanitary, shameful. So girls drop out of school. They even have, in some certain regions, they live in period huts for the duration of their periods.
Mm.
So eventually, as they grow older, they just decide not to come to school anymore. And I guess that's where Sati started, because I researched a bit on this and I realized that something needed to be done.
And then what made you do something so different? Because there are a number of period poverty products. There are a number of products that have tried to address period poverty in the past. What made yours different, and how did you kind of arrive at that solution?
Uh, well, I definitely think that the reason why I wanted to do something like this is because it is personal and I know that this product will be directly helping. So essentially, unlike many other brands, for every one period underwear that people buy, one goes directly to a girl who needs them.
Hmm.
And also the quality is amazing. They last for a really long time. It's reusable, sustainable. So I would definitely say much better than one-time sanitary pads that are going to end up being thrown away anyways.
And what kind of challenges did you face in finally, getting the product out there in terms of distribution and, be it distribution, be it marketing, making an awareness about the product itself?
So obviously, since I am 16, I didn't really know that much about the whole business world. It seemed quite daunting. So I'm really lucky that I had my parents to kind of help guide me and encourage me with all this. So I would definitely say that age is a factor in one of my struggles. I would also say, just trying to find a manufacturer. There's so many that you can choose from, and really like deciding on that one product that you think works best. Also, trying to partner with foundations. So I partnered with the KCS Foundation, but uh, finding a way to actively distribute all of these pads, I think, sorry, these menstrual underwears, I think that was also definitely a challenge.
And being 16 and starting this at this age where, you're not just, I think you're dabbling across a variety of emotions and a variety of changes across life. How do you kind of deal with that in your personal zone to balance, be it your pressures at school, or be it your pressures at home, and then simultaneously run this little creation of yours?
I definitely think that time management here is key. So I am currently doing my GCSE exams, and I really have to prioritize when I'm going to focus on my business and when I'm going to focus on my exams. It is definitely a bit of a tricky schedule, of course, but I definitely believe if you plan it out, everything can work smoothly.
It's amazing. It's amazing that you realize that at such a young age. I'm not
My
sure
mom had a
if I
big
had
factor
it.
in it.
Huh?
My mom definitely had a big factor in it. She's very organized, so I think I've learned from her.
Moms always do. I think they contribute largely. Mine has contributed to this platform as well. So I can completely relate to that, to having that support behind you. And,
Yeah.
bringing this initiative to the region now, what do you think? What's different about it? And how are you planning to, customize it to this region and the demand that exists here?
Uh, so as a 16-year-old, I know what people are looking for in a menstrual underwear brand. And I think that I'm really channeling this into the product because not only is it something that like will appeal to people my age, but it's also something that's with a good cause. And I think everybody wants to make a change, but perhaps doesn't know how. So I think by buying something that's both useful and charitable, I think that's a great idea to do it.
Do you think that period poverty is something that's common around the world, or do you think it's only limited to specific regions from your research, whatever you know so far?
So, as far as I understand, period poverty is something that affects all regions. However, it does mostly affect regions in low-income countries or low-income households because in high-income countries, those problems aren't really as prominent and there's less of a stigma. However, it is truly awful in places where there's a period stigma and it's low income because not only do women not have access to basic menstrual products, they can't even talk about it.
Mm, mm. And why do you think there is a need to talk about it? According to you, why do we need to talk about a subject like that? Why do there have to be more conversations around periods? What's been your thoughts on that?
So I would say there's two factors. That first, it's natural. Everybody, well, half the population has periods. I don't think it should be something that people don't talk about. Like everyone has it. And also, people really struggle with this. And I just feel as though with periods, because people don't want to talk about it, people's struggles are just going completely unnoticed. And that's why we need to talk about it more so that these struggles do get noticed and people try and help them more.
And are there any myths that you've heard? Are there any three myths that you've heard about periods that you would first come first, want to break in the market that this is not true?
Definitely. So, firstly, people treating periods as shameful, something to hide away. It's not shameful. As I said earlier, everyone has them. They're not at all shameful. Or perhaps that periods are a personal issue. Again, everyone has them. I would also say that people do tend to think of periods as unsanitary, but it's a natural process. I mean, we learn about it in biology. I truly don't understand why people have to regard it in such a manner when everybody has it.
This question comes from my knowledge in the past about many sustainable organic brands who have launched eco-friendly period solutions. However, the quality often kind of takes a setback or there is a change in, in comparison to the regular ones that you wear. How have you
Mhm.
taken care of that when it comes to Saathi?
So with the quality and everything.
Yeah.
So our underwear is made from a unique blend of 95% bamboo fiber because obviously we want to be very sustainable. And for that extra stretch, 5% spandex. So firstly, the general quality of it is amazing. Then we also have 4 layers inside the actual underwear for absorbency, odor control, and we've also had product testers. So I've made my friends test it all out, and my period panties ultimately came out on top. So I definitely think that having that support system to help me with choosing the final amazing product was very useful.
That's two key lessons to entrepreneurship that you've covered from all my episodes, which is customer research and just connecting with the people around you to make your product better. So I think you're an entrepreneur from the start of it.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I definitely think that I've always been really interested in being an entrepreneur. I mean, when I was 11 and I first went to boarding school, I actually launched a mini business of selling pot noodles to my friends from Dubai to England.
Oh my God, wow. So you've had the knack since then. I think it's something.
Yeah, I mean, I've always really enjoyed like doing business. I even remember in primary school we'd have business days, and it would be so fun to plan all of it out.
What do you love the most about doing something of your own?
I definitely think it's that freedom of choice of what you want to do. It's not just something that you've been asked to do. It's what you want to do. It's something that will actually like excite you, something that you're passionate about. And I believe as an entrepreneur, you can make a real change in the world, whether it be from just donating to charity or the business itself.
And then why do you think it is important, especially because you're in the business of doing good? Why do you think it is important to attach a noble cause or some sort of purpose to anything that you do of your own?
So we're all human. I believe we have to help each other. It's the only way that we as a society will grow. I don't believe in just taking all the money for oneself, but instead of sharing it and giving it to charity, helping people who are struggling with huge problems in life, I think that as a person in a business, it's good to give back to society.
True that. True that. And tell me something about the product itself, just from the perspective of how people can use it. What are the benefits? How is it different from in terms of functionality? How is it different from every other product in the market?
Right. So I'm going to explain what a period underwear is. It's basically just an underwear that you wear in your period. So it can be from 6 to 8 hours. And after that, you just wash it, you just rinse it, and then you throw it in the laundry machine. So I believe that the Saathi period underwears are, well, to me, the best because, firstly, obviously, they have a unique blend. They're very, very absorbent, and I've had lots of product testers on that as well. But I definitely also think that our mission is what makes us stand out as a company. It's not just about gaining money, but also about giving back.
Hmm. And who are you giving back to, and how are you doing that?
So as I mentioned earlier about the KCS Foundation, so what's going to happen is that for every underwear bought, one will be given, and they have around 12 schools, I think, and so these underwears will be given to them. So for every time somebody buys one, we'll be giving one to them so they can give it in the schools. So girls will actually be able to come to school. I met some of these girls last year, and I'm so excited to go back this year and tell them that, you can go back to school again. It's just going to be amazing. I'm so excited.
There's some sort of purpose when you talk. You can see the excitement in your in your voice itself.
I think that's something very personal though about like actually meeting the people
Yes.
that you're going to be helping, because it is lovely to do charity where you donate, but when you actually see the change that you've made, it's just so much more real.
True that, very true. It makes you more, uh, I mean, it gives you a hands-on experience of the impact that you're delivering and also tells you, I think, what you can do better in the long run, you know. My last two questions to you, Anna, is one is tell me if you were to explain, and I always do this, I break it down for the younger audience. So tell me if you were to explain period poverty to say a 5-year-old who's on their way to growing up, doesn't know much about what periods are to begin with. If you were to give a definition to that generation, and rightfully a definition that transforms the way they look at this topic, how would you define?
So, period poverty in simpler terms would just be the lack of access to sanitary products for menstrual hygiene. And this affects many women and many young girls as well, but more specifically in low-income countries and households.
Perfect. And then my last question to you is that what's in store? What are you most looking forward to over the coming years? And how do you plan to grow with Saathi and alongside Saathi?
So it would be my dream that if Saathi became bigger, that perhaps I could expand to more areas of India, perhaps border into some other countries as well. Or maybe even perhaps like launch some new lines within Saathi, so more types of period underwear. But definitely just growing the business as a whole and trying to reach a whole new collection of communities.
And what do you aim to become, and what do you aim to achieve at a personal level? What are you working towards in your personal journey as an entrepreneur or even as a youngster?
So I think it's always been my dream to become an entrepreneur. I would like to have that sort of control over where my life is headed, because I've always wanted to make a change.
Mhm.
That's definitely been my dream. And I thought when I was younger, the best way to do this is to do it myself. If I become an entrepreneur, I can not only make my own business, which I love, but also use it to like make a change in society as a whole. Uh, so yeah.
Great. On that note, wishing you all the very best and more power to you and your cause. I look forward to engaging with Sati someday soon and wishing you all the very best once again.